Methods of site valuation. When an appraiser goes out and they're going to evaluate the site itself, and separate from the improvements, they're one of the ways that they're going to value it is the sales or market data comparison. That's a typical way of doing it. So they're going to look at recent sales, listing data of vacant sites, and then they're going to compare it with the property that's being valued, the subject property. Data of the comparable properties should include the same zoning and the same or similar neighborhood. The further away it is, the less useful it's going to be. Since people make value, the data gathered should be from areas where the purchasing power or the income levels are the same as the subject property, because we're trying to make things like for like. The sales prices should be investigated, though. You can't just take them at face value to determine whether the price paid was the result of a true open market transaction reflecting true market value. We have to willing buyer, willing seller. Listings will be also considered. Some of the sources where the appraiser might find these comparable market data is through title insurance company records, tax assessors, recorder's office, MLS files, financial news, appraiser, and the appraiser's personal files. The verified market transactions are then going to be compared with the subject parcel in comparison to one of these things is time, because they need to determine if the prices have gone up, down, or remain stable from the time of each date of sale, because there was a value on it, and if it's gone up, they need to adjust. A percentage factor or a dollar amount can be applied to the comparable sales in order to arrive at the adjusted price due to this time factor. Another one is location. The appraiser needs to determine if the location of each comparable property is better, the same, or worse than that of the subject. That way they can make adjustments. A percentage factor in the same way or dollar amount might be applied to the data in order to adjust for the difference in location. It could be $5,000, it could be, or a percentage. Characteristics of the lot are also critical. The size, the depth, the shape, topography, those soil conditions that we talked about, utility improvements, and other measurable characteristics of the other properties need to be compared with the subject. And again, in the same way, a percentage factor or a dollar amount is going to be determined to adjust the value of the comparable to the subject. The adjusted prices of the comparable properties are then going to be compared and analyzed in order to arrive at that estimate of value for the property that we're investigating or the appraiser is investigating. For example, if you had 3 lot sales, that would be a minimum, and you would take 3 sales and compare it with the subject to come up with a final value. We're going to go through an example in the next video.